This episode contains spoilers for Life is Strange, Episode 1 and 2.
As such, this episode discusses assault and suicide as depicted in the game.
Welcome back to the Push to Smart Water Cooler. Today we're returning to Arcadia Bay for the second episode of Life is Strange, the latest from Square Enix and Don't Nod Entertainment. In this episode, Max and Chloe explore the limits of Max's superpowers while the drama at Prescott Academy reaches its dangerous climax. Dun dun dun!
So this episode opens up. It's very indie film. The music's playing, and you can choose whether to wake up or not. And Max is wearing an adorable chicken shirt,
Yes.
which I would really like.
Yeah, Square Enix needs to get this stuff in its store.
She just woke up, so she decides, hey, I should take a shower. Start the day right. So she goes, and then drama bomb, trying to talk like the teenagers in Arcadia Bay.
Hella drama bomb is what you think.
Mad drama. And then we find out that poor little Kate Marsh has a video floating around. A viral video that shows her doing who knows what unsavory things at a party for the Cyclone Twister Tornado Club or whatever.
Vortex Club.
Vortex.
Symbolism crashed right through that one.
Sorry.
One thing I do want to say about the waking up sequence, which is kind of interesting, is both this episode and the previous episode, this episode especially, has a lot of just very slow moments that you can kind of press O to get out of, but you don't have to get out of it ever. It's just the shots will rotate through endlessly if you let them, and they're just supposed to be these very relaxing moments about Max just kind of collecting her thoughts. And I thought that was kind of interesting to just interject into these games.
Yeah, I liked that you could kind of just... It felt like a very teenager thing to just kind of stay in bed.
Yeah.
And just wait there. But yeah, I'm not sure if Victoria started the video, but she's definitely spreading the video, which is causing Kate a lot of emotional trauma. And so the first kind of choice that you can do in the game is wipe off the link in the bathroom or leave it there for people to find. What did you do?
First of all, it's not the first choice. The first choice is to water your plant, which I missed this episode.
So did I. Actually, the first choice was to make your bed.
Oh, I missed
Which
that
I
one
did.
too.
And she's like, I know it's uncool, but I always have to make my bed. And I was like, I don't, but in this game, I'm escaping from that world.
See, it's funny because in my game, I totally missed that. And she looks at the blanket after the drama has ensued, and she goes, reminds me of home. Haha, Mom, I don't have to do that here. It's like totally different perspective.
I like that, though.
Yeah. But I, of course, wiped the URL off the mirror.
Because we're not monsters.
Yeah. I really, am invested in Kate. I feel so bad for her.
I just want to hold her. Just be like, it's okay.
We'll get those guys.
Yeah. And then when you get back to your room, you figure out that there's been an intruder. An unknown intruder who's most definitely Nathan.
Yeah. I was confused at first because I thought it was Victoria doing retribution because you could potentially mess up her wall in the first episode. And I was sitting there like, I didn't do that though. Like, is this the glitch? Why am I having this? And then it was like, oh, it's Nathan.
I will say, one of my biggest beefs with the game last episode was that the language felt so bad and stilted. And I didn't feel... So bad.
So bad. Hella bad.
Hella mad bad. But I didn't feel like it was as strong this episode. I think things flowed a little bit more. And then from that you go to the diner and you're waiting on Chloe. Chloe shows up.
You get to meet Chloe's mom.
Yeah, I actually really liked, and I don't know why I noticed it, but I felt like the physicality of Chloe's mom was kind of spot on for a waitress. Just the way that she moved, it felt very natural. Did you notice that? Or am I
didn't, but maybe that's some shop talk and from your barista experience.
Oh, maybe it is.
I felt like this episode did a little bit more to make Chloe's parents, or mother and stepfather, a little bit more sympathetic. like David, her stepfather, is still clearly up to something, but it tries to kind of make a case for maybe he's up to something good, just in a very terrible way, because he has no idea what to do.
Yeah.
Which doesn't excuse it, but it definitely seemed like they're trying to make him a little bit more sympathetic.
Yeah. I do think that they were trying to make them sympathetic, but I also felt in this episode that they were trying to make Chloe less sympathetic.
Mm-hmm. I definitely felt less sympathetic for her.
Because I was kind of actually frustrated with her, particularly when Kate calls you, and you can answer your phone or you can't. And I answered it because obviously,
she
precious
needs
baby,
help.
protect her. And Chloe's all like, gosh, sorry, I don't have your undivided attention right now. I don't really feel like I'm jiving with her as much as I thought I would.
I don't know, because again, they're kids. Even though they're technically 18, they're kids. I was definitely, like, frustrated with her during the moment when Kate was calling. Because it's like, no, Kate needs help. She is, she needs help right now.
She is having a tough time.
Yeah, she needs a friend. And the thing with Frank, I did both outcomes multiple times because I couldn't decide which one I liked more. Because if you try to shoot Frank, Chloe, of course, gets really excited because she seems scared of anytime anybody challenges someone in power, kind of, like when you challenge her stepfather, she gets really excited. Now when you challenge this guy that has this power over her, she gets really excited. But I was worried then that he was going to come after Max, so I rewound. But if you don't shoot him, he takes the gun.
That was the deciding factor for me.
Yeah, me too.
It's like, he can be upset with me and take the gun, or he can be upset with me and then I have a gun.
Yeah, exactly. Or more accurately, he does not have this gun.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to use it. Hopefully. Probably, actually. But, like,
Chloe's
she
gun.
still says when you don't try to shoot him, he takes the gun. I'm kind of glad it turned out this way. Mm-hmm. Because in the end, she really isn't wanting to have these confrontations. Mm-hmm. So I think that really helps. And it's interesting the fact that it took me rewinding several times to get that.
That's interesting because this game I found myself not rewinding as much.
Really?
I would do a choice and I was like, I don't even need to see the others because this feels right. Like when I answered Kate's call or at the end of the episode when you place the blame. And I feel like I've pushed us ahead, but I'm going to pull us back to the diner where you have that really great sequence where you're trying to prove to Chloe that you do have powers. And so she pulls her stuff out of her pockets and you have to rewind time and recite in detail what you have. And then you kind of have to go through these events that are happening. And I just thought it was a really cool way to integrate getting to know the mechanic and also paying attention to detail, which pays off later in the episode.
That's true.
I thought it was just a really fun way of doing that. And then from there you go to Chloe's little hideaway spot, which is the junkyard, which I think was what you were alluding to as another one of those really kind of moments where you just kind of can take your time. Yeah,
which I have mixed feelings about because I hated looking for bottles. That was the worst.
Me too.
But I like that you could sit at the stump, that you could take a picture of the weird pixel deer, that you could sit on the chair on the boat and kind of explore their little hidey hole. I like that kind of stuff. I hated the bottles.
Chloe pulls out the gun. I was really worried that she was going to like shoot herself or something, do something drastic.
Yeah.
Be like, rewind time.
She kind of did in my playthrough.
In one of them, she kind of, it ricochets and it gets her in the gut. And I was like, oh shit. Then we move on to the train sequence.
Which, that was another scene. It's like, I know it's supposed to be like this kind of, again, this might be just me as an adult playing this. But the entire scene, I'm like, those are active tracks. I saw the train go by. Those are active tracks. Get up. Those are active tracks. The entire scene.
When you were walking around the junkyard, that thing would come by all of the time.
Yeah.
And then from there, you go back to school. After you run in with Frank, who Chloe owes a lot of money to.
Frank has Rachel's bracelet.
Oh, yeah.
We just learned that. That's the big thing.
The plot thickens. And Chloe, like, flips her shit about it, too. I feel like these first two episodes have really laid the tracks. And I'm really looking forward to the next one because I feel like that's when the mystery is really going to deepen.
Yeah.
And we're going to get a lot more into the kind of Twin Peaks-iness of it, which I'm really excited to get to. But this one more focused on coming to terms with your powers and your extent of your powers and also your interpersonal relations.
Yeah, exactly.
So you get back to the school. You kind of wander around for a little bit, but you get into class with Mr. Jefferson. Kind of creeps me out now.
Yeah, he's totally guilty of something.
I know.
He's totally guilty of something.
I completely agree. He's just too...
He's like too into Max, and then he blames Kate. Like, oh, the lady doth protest too much. It's like, no, if you shut your mouth.
You're an adult, and she is a freaking child.
He is an adult, and he is a teacher. He is in charge. He should,
There is something wrong with you.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. It was that scene where he made her cry, and right away I was like, don't you dare.
Don't make me go to the principal again.
Yeah. But then your class gets interrupted. Something terrible is happening at the dorms, and you go there just in time to see Kate jump off the building and kill herself. Also,
though, you get a chance to kind of just explore the school at first.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice. It reintroduces you to a lot of characters. Mm-hmm. You get to help Warren with the science experiments.
Oh, I liked that.
Me too. I like, again, those quiet moments where you get those fun character interactions. And it kind of still teaches you how to kind of master this mechanic.
And they also, what I thought was really funny, is at the beginning of the episode, Alyssa gets hit in the head again with something.
Yes.
And I was like, I just want this to be a recurring joke. And she's like, thanks, Max. And I know it's terrible, but I just want that to be a thing, whether it's a football or toilet paper. I just need to save her.
And in the last episode, it's going to be like some giant, 2x4 in a tornado. And it'll still be, thanks, Max.
Thanks, Max. You wouldn't understand my book.
Oh, what was she saying?
I'm actually really starting to feel for these characters.
I know. She said something amazing. She was looking out a window at the rain, and you go up to her, she says something like, "Not now, Max. I'm contemplating shit."
Oh, yeah.
Something just completely...
And then you can take a picture of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really liking the characters a lot, is what I'm saying. But yeah, Kate. Let's go rescue baby Kate.
And so throughout the episode, something we've been forgetting to mention is Max has been getting nosebleeds after using her powers and kind of dizziness. And you kind of were seeing that as you played the game, where if you're around time a lot, the screen would get all weird and Max would kind of hold her head a little bit. But this is now she's actually showing serious symptoms. And her power evolves in its kind of way. She kind of wills time to stop so she can get up to the roof in time to talk to Kate.
Which it looks like, looking at the choices, you either could or couldn't save Kate. And this is a choice that you could not rewind.
Yeah. It was one of those things where we felt like the time rewinding could be an easy out to a lot of things. So we were wondering what kind of hurdles they were going to put in Max's way to not make that seem like a get out of jail free card all the time. And this worked. This worked. It was tense, and I was terrified of the outcome. And it was one of those things where that paying attention was key in saving Kate's life. Did you save Kate's life?
I did.
Okay.
But looking at the stats, 41% didn't today.
It was 42% when I played.
Okay, good.
It's pretty split.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I would live with myself if Kate...
I would restart.
Just the entire...
Yeah, no, I would. I'd do that in Mass Effect 3. One of my playthroughs, Tally jumped, and I was just like, what? I went back and replayed it.
Yeah. This game is getting me more than I thought it would. The first episode, I was kind of, joking about how it seemed almost shallow, but...
It snuck up on you.
It really did. And particularly, something that I was really impressed with was at the end of the game, once you finish the episode, a lot of people who are trying to make a game about teenagers or whatever, they're going to use, suicide and abuse and druggings and stuff like that as... kind of like a ripped from the headlines drama kit. But something I was really impressed with was that at the end of the episode, the scrolling text was like, we have a space on our website. If any of this is affecting you in some way, you can find resources to talk about it.
Oh my gosh. I didn't see that. That's awesome.
I know. That just I was like, wow. These guys, it makes me a little emotional just thinking about it. They care.
Which it surprised me because one of the things that earlier in the episode kind of bugged me, and I kind of contextualized later on, but when Kate asks you to go to the police, I said no, just because everything else leading up to this point has led to a conspiracy of Twin Peaksian proportions instead of just normal, but at the same time, you know, her experience unfortunately is more normal than Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
And I didn't like...
You didn't want to contribute to rape culture.
Yeah, and I wanted, in the way that Max was articulating it, too, it was just like, no, it's just no one will believe you. And it's just like, oh, Max.
You can't say that to precious baby Kate.
So that was kind of really bothering me, because it did feel a little bit close to that rip from the headlines, or rip from real life, with this kind of magical superpower thing, and I wasn't sure if it would reconcile it, which I guess it still needs to be seen whether or not it can.
And I was really hoping that Max was going to say it in a way that was like, I'm going to look into this and I'm going to find proof.
I wanted her to mention, hey, I believe you. Nathan held a gun to a girl in the bathroom. However, I'm being threatened for telling them because they won't take my word for it. Let's build a case together.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I wanted her to say, not just, oh, they won't believe you.
Yeah.
It's like, they won't believe you because this school is controlled by his dad, and I have this experience, but we can get through this.
It's not they're not going to believe you because of you. It's, they're not going to believe you because this situation is severely fucked up.
Yeah.
And we're going to fix that, is what I was hoping for that. But, you know, when it came to it, I was like, no, I'm not going to tell her that.
Yeah.
But at the end, you get to point the finger. And I'm not sure what it's like if you don't save Kate. Please let us know, because I'm very curious. But the principal's starting to take you a lot more seriously.
Yeah.
And you can point to David, Nathan, or Mr. Jefferson. Who did you point to?
Mr. Jefferson.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that like? Tell me everything.
Well, Mr. Jefferson still kind of has this, like, good guy thing where it's like, I understand, like, well, first of all, the principal notes, like, you know, Kate's been helping you a lot. Did you notice any strange behavior in her or any change in her attitude? Max wants to know, well, yeah, you know, she did say something to him and she ran off crying. And Mr. Jefferson says, you know, I had noticed she'd become more withdrawn. And, you know, I take responsibility. You know, it is there's more, like, important things going on than me, like the life of this young girl.
And then Max is like, you smell that? Because it's bullshit.
Yeah. And then he has to withdraw from that competition that he's been trying to get everyone to enter or to represent. But yeah, because I didn't feel like I should. I knew if I blamed Nathan, it wouldn't move, like, no one would believe me again. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to blame David yet, because even though he was doing really creepy stuff, the game was seen to be kind of building towards he's doing something else. And I want to get to the bottom of that. Mm-hmm. But Mr. Jefferson just creeps me the fuck out. And
I know.
It's like he's doing something.
With his glasses and his suits. You're a teacher. But I blamed Nathan because I don't think that he's behind everything. I think he's just a cog, but he is a piece of shit.
He is.
And I want him to pay for being a piece of shit, especially after Chloe talked about how she was drugged by him. And so I was like, at this point, I'm not trying to figure out, you know, who killed Snow, like in Wolf Among Us. I'm just trying to ruin this.
Punch Nathan in his smug little face.
Exactly. And he got suspended.
Oh.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to call my lawyer for libel. And they're like, shut up. Well, not exactly. They were like, we're taking this a lot more seriously now, and we have no choice but to suspend you. And he's like, you'll hear from my parents about this.
Just because also you get, like, the threatening text from, like, him and his dad.
And his father.
Yeah, it's like, okay, how old are you to be like, texting an 18-year-old threatening her? But yeah, so I was just like, okay, we need to build a case against Nathan. We need to figure out what David's doing, because maybe he is building a case against Nathan in his severely fucked up way, and maybe we can just defuck it and, like, use it.
So I think that brings us to choices.
Yeah.
I chose to tell Kate to go to the police. Mm-hmm. And we just discussed why.
Yeah.
That's what you did as well?
No, I told her to wait.
Really?
And I felt terrible, but I felt like in the context of this world, that made sense. I didn't like the way that Max articulated it, but I felt it made sense.
Yeah, I just couldn't talk to her like that. I just needed to give her some hope or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I played, it was 29%.
Oh, it's gone up. 30% as of today have told the police, and 70% told her to wait for more proof.
And then at the diner, I answered Kate's call.
Me too. And I'm pleased to see 77% dead.
Oh, it's gone up. It was 76 last night.
Good.
And then I tried to shoot Frank. That's the one that I stayed with.
Yeah, me too.
So that was 59% when I played.
58%.
Wow.
Yeah, it's gone down.
I just could not give that guy a gun. I was like, I'm not going to give you a motive and a gun.
Exactly. Exactly.
And like we were saying, it was pretty split on saving Kate's life or not. For me, it was 58% succeeded.
It's gone a little bit up. It's 59% right now.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And when I played it, almost everybody. So 78% blamed Nathan.
Same. 7% blame Mr. Jefferson. I don't know if that means everybody's blaming, drinking the Mr. Jefferson John Lennon Kool-Aid, or if it's just everybody wants to punch Nathan in his face.
For me, it's just, I just hate that guy. And I want him to pay, especially after he beat up Warren. I think Warren is adorable.
I do too. And I love, at the end, he does that very, smooth, kind of wrap his arm around her.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Warren, you are so cute.
I know, I just want to pinch his cheeks. But, yeah, I mean, I was kind of on the fence after the first episode, but I am on board now. I cannot wait for the next episode.
I'm excited. I like this episode a lot. It was quite longer than I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm. But it didn't feel...
It didn't feel long.
Other than the part of the junkyard segment. I didn't feel
bottles.
this game needs to get on. But, yeah, I am, on board. I'm happy. I'm excited. And I'm starting to really get a feel for the characters in the world, and so I just cannot wait to continue. So that does it for our discussion on the second episode of Life is Strange. We are obviously very pumped to see what happens next, and seeing as the stage is set, we're really curious what your thoughts are on where the game is going to go and what's going to happen to Max and Chloe next. So please let us know in the comments, and of course do not forget to subscribe to keep up to date on all of our latest episodes and water cooler discussions.
She blinded me with science.